Hello Internet and welcome to another Bits and Bobs Unity tutorial. This will be a follow-up video from another video I made exactly a year ago. I got a question, this one. Basically, he followed my last video and he needs to know how to change materials on several objects, or find a way to change on more objects than one without changing everything. And there's numerous ways of doing so. I'm gonna make a couple. Also, if you want to see the previous video on changing materials, there should be a link on your screen about now. And let's get started. So I started this scene like an easy setup. It's a player and some cubes. They're all red. I also have made another material which is blue, so we're gonna change them to blue. The scripts are basically one for moving the camera and one for moving the player. So if I hit play, I can look around and walk, just to make everything easier. And also I just attached a UI knob on the middle of the screen to give me some sort of indicator for where the middle of the screen is. So low cost crosshair. If you don't see how I did that, it's just add an image, anchor it to the middle and put it to a knob. I just changed the width and height down a bit. So let's get into it. The first way I'm gonna show you is by using raycasting. So let's open the camera controller. Boom. So basically we're gonna change the material of the cubes based on raycasting. So if I'm pointing towards a cube and hitting my mouse button, I will change its color to blue. So the first thing I want to do is check if I have clicked my mouse. So it's get mouse button down and 0 should be left. Inside here I'm gonna work on the raycast, so just make a raycast hit. Raycast hit I mean. And if the physics raycast, raycast from the transform position, which is the origin, I want it to go transform forward as my direction. Out hit is like the feedback or the result, and the range, I'll just put it to 25. So I'm pretty sure, hold on, nothing here is more than 25 units away. Next thing I want to do is, so basically I only want these red cubes to change color, and not like if I hit the ground. I named the ground and all of the cubes are named cube. I guess you could also, if you want to instantiate them, there would be cube clones. I guess you could do that, or there are ways of using Unity to find if the name contains part of the word, like if the name contains cube, if you want to have like several different types of cubes. But for this tutorial I just named everything cube. It's easier. So next thing we want to do then is to see if the hit collider name equals cube. So we can just see if this works. Debug log, hit a cube. So if I go back to Unity now, I can hit in the air, nothing happens. Although we could actually, if you see at the bottom left of the screen, it says hit a cube. Hold on, let me get my mouse up so you can see the console. Bam, 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 bam. Hit a cube. Don't worry about the mouse, it's just... So this works. Now we wanted to change the color of the cube we were hitting to blue. First of all, we need a reference to the material, so we will have to make a public material, let's call it blue. And to change it, we want to go to the hit collider game object and get its component, which is the renderer, and find its material and set it to blue. Pretty straightforward. And if I'm not mistaken, this should work. So if I hit play now, actually it turned purple for some reason. Oh wait, I did not set the material to blue. No idea why it turned purple though. That's weird. Anyway, now they're turning blue, and if I miss, nothing will happen. I'm clicking like hell now, and as soon as I hit it, it turns blue. So that's one way of doing it. The other way I was gonna show is by using a if we go into the other script on the player controller, we could make it so that you will change the cube closest to the player to blue if you hit a button, for instance. So let's go through this. If input get key down, down, and let's say key code, let's say V, for instance. So if I hit V, we want to make so that I change the color of the closest cube. To do this, I need reference to the I need to figure out which one is the closest, and I need to do that I need a list or an array of some sort to find all of the cubes. So let's just make an array for that. So let's say public, or maybe it can even be private, I think. Private game object cubes. Let's make that capital. And we don't need a parameter for that. Bit. Find all cubes. It's confusing. Why is this red? Yeah, because I haven't returned anything yet. So basically we want to say that game object cubes should be game object find game objects with tag. I guess we could tag them all. So let's say we tag all of the items we want to change or we want to tag all of these that we will hopefully change color of. So let's make a tag for that, call it cube. Let's mark all of these again and tag them. So now it will only go through these 4. You can add more if you want to, but by this we're doing it this way, it doesn't matter what the names are as long as the tag is named cube. And then just return cubes. If you want this to be what's it called, like if you have a game that you know all of the things that you might want to change the material of at the start of the game, you should probably do this in the start function or on awake. If for some reason these could be destroyed or more could appear during the gameplay, you should do this basically inside the if test here, so that you will find all of the game objects every time you hit the V button. For this example they are pretty static, so we can do it in the start function. So say game object cubes, oh hold on, game object cubes equals find all cubes. So now I have a array of game objects which will contain all of the things tagged with cube, which is these 4. Now let's try to figure out which is the closest cube, because that's the one we want to change the color of, right? So private GameObject, not an array, get closest cube. And for this we want to have the GameObject array of all the cubes and pass that on. GameObject closest cube. This will be our initial cube. We just set this one to the first, so we have our reference point for figuring out the distance between all of them. And we just iterate through all the others in a for loop. So for int I equal, actually that should be 1 because we already have the initial one set to 0. I just find this easier. E equals cubes.length, so we only iterate through what we have. And to figure out which is the closest, we check if the vector 3 distance from cubes I transform position to our own position is closer than vector 3 distance closest cube transform position to our transform position. So basically, if the distance from the cube we are iterating through is closer than whichever one we have set as the closest cube, which initially will be the first one in the array, then we want to, if it's closer, then we want to set the closest cube to this cube, which is the cube's I. And once this is done, we just return the closest cube. And now we always have a reference to the cube that is closest to our player. So inside here we can say GameObject closest cube equals get closest cube cubes. Didn't I call it cubes? Yeah, cubes. Why does this not work? Because I need to instantiate this higher up, I guess. Private GameObject cubes, and just set this cubes. So the other thing we wanted to do was to change the color or the material to blue. So we need a reference to the material again. Public material blue. I said it public because it's easier to just find it here, I find. How long did I not save? So blue. I'm also going to make a button to reset all of the cubes to red, so I'm gonna make a reference to red just now. So let's just drag red on here. There we go. Oops. There we go. And instead of just finding the closest cube, we could just say that get closest cube, get component, renderer, material equals blue. So let's try this. See, I can still change it by clicking if I point at them. If I go back, you can see on the left side on the scene view, if I hit B, the closest one turns blue. And we can go to this one too. I'm still not aiming to it, so I can't use the cursor thing that we made previously. But if I hit V, this one also turns blue. The other way was the problem that my viewer had was that, you know, we would change the color of all the game objects, so that's what we're gonna do for last. Maybe it will be easier to see the difference if we do it both ways. So let's say if, let key down, not button. Get key down, key code R for reset. Just reset all cubes. Let's make a function that will reset all the cubes. So say private void reset all cubes, and we can just go through them. Actually, this could use a parameter, GameObject cubes. Oops. Let's attach cubes here. So for int I equals 0 this time, not 1, less than cubes length I plus plus cubes I get component renderer material equals red. So this one gets the array of all the cubes, it goes through them one by one, and it sets each one's material to red, so we'll reset everything. So let's try this out. I'll head back, hit V to change the color of the cube behind me to blue. I will shoot down these two on the sides. I'll head forward, look up, hit V, it all works. Click R, they're all reset. Click R, all reset. Go back. So this works on all levels. These are only a few options for changing one-on-one cube. There's different ways of doing this. Also, if you have a shit ton of cubes, or you want it only to be able to change someone within its proximity, for instance, you can always use overlap sphere. I have a tutorial for that too, and it should be about here on your screen now. Yeah. If there's more questions regarding this, just ask and I can probably try to help out again. But hopefully this will solve your problems, and thanks for watching.